Pleasure and welcome to another This Sporting Life, and thanks for joining us on an evening when too much sport will be bellying up. Later in the show, a man and his trumpet will join us here at the card table, perched as it is on the very abyss of all-action sport. But that's a long way in the future. For now, I'll let you get a big man gnawing at a bone, giving it a red-hot go, simply by asking Rampaging Roy Slaven, what were the highlights of your week?
Yes, thank you very much, H.G. Nelson. Well, you know, a lot of people have said to me, this is by way of a highlight, because very little has happened this week, but on the other hand, there have been a couple of things that I consider interesting. And what I began by saying is a lot of people have been saying to me, are Australians doing well overseas? And I have to say yes, and I don't just mean in the United States, well, I do really. When you talk Billy Thorpe in the United States doing very, very well, when you think of Brian Cadd in the United States doing very, very well, now we've got not only Greg Norman, who's number one, you know, the favourite for the US PGA, and Greg, we wish you all the best, but also Andrew Gaze. Australia's Andrew Gaze now looks like he might be picked up by the NBA, that is the Basketball Association of the United States of America. And as Frank Sinatra said all those years ago, New York, if you make it here, you can make it anywhere. I think he's up there with the best in the world, and I think Australians should just stand very still, just quietly, for a couple of moments, think of Andrew Gaze and feel very, 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 very proud. That's my highlight.
Well, Roy, we were lucky enough to be last weekend in St Petersburg, obviously that great Russian town, speaking of Big Apples, and we were there on a Davis Cup mission. We had, obviously, the Super Woodies, Patrick Rafter, Jamie Morgan and Nuke and Roche, who have picked up the baton very, very attractively that was hurled down by Tennis Australia from the hands of Fries not so long ago. Roy, you were there with the ABC camcorder. You got some beautiful footage. Take us through it.
Yes, we should have a look at a little bit of what went on. Here you've got Patrick Rafter, obviously very, very hot. He lost, remember, he lost both rubbers with Nuke as his coach in this inst. Hopefully we'll see Nuke in a moment. I think Nuke was very rueful about what was going on. Remember this Russian kiddie, no big raps on him at all. He's a no-name, but he was still too good for Patrick Rafter, who just couldn't take... There's Nuke, rueful as ever. What a character. And remember that Newcomb and Roach were the finest doubles pairing in the world. They really had the Super Woodies pumped up for a big one. Here's Bloodnut banging one down. They were 2 sets up. Then Nuke had a real go at them, you know, between sets 2 and 3. Fired them right up. They went out and lost the next 3. Bang, bang, bang. There was the rubber. That was Australia. The first round exit for the first time in 24 years. And a lot of people are saying, did Tennis Australia make a mistake by hiring 2 clowns to coach the Davis Cup team and renege on the deal with Neil Fraser?
Well, I think that's a very interesting question and one that'll wait till after our street.
Yes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Nucky Street. Tremendous street, lively street, everything happening in Nucky Street. Who have you spotted, Roy? Who are those clowns in the hats?
Well, we've got a couple of fit Darwin blokes here at the traffic lights. Lord looking very good, looking very cagey. One fiddling with his nose. Give it a rest, give it a rest. Waiting, of course, to go across the street. They think they might have eyeballed us here, HG. I certainly bloody well hope not. They're looking very coy and funny.
Funny.
One of them's a joker.
Funny with it.
Gary the Joker, he just fiddled with his nose.
But they're all related again. They must be from the hat family.
Yeah, they're all hats, of course, obviously. And we'll see how fit they are when they stride across the street very, very shortly here once they get the green light.
Here they go. Look at the bloke in the green's out early, then the white shirt, and then the grey shirt coming up.
The white shirt, white hat leading, blue hat coming around the left. Black hat wins.
Oh, no, they're over there. There they are. They go into the history. And if you've seen yourself on television, remember, there's a prize in our street, i.e. your street, i.e. Nucky Street.
Darwin.
Well, this is the sweetest victory of all.
Yes, and just before we go on, I'd like to thank Mavis and Martha for getting in touch with us last week, the winners of our street. They got a tremendous Boeing 747 surplus to requirements in Seattle and a terrific Toyota Tarago, which was great. Going back to Nuke and Roach, though, as I pointed out, Tennis Australia had such an enormous job selecting someone to take over the seat from Fries.
Yes.
They had to choose 2 people, such were the shoes. Those 2 people, of course, we've got a snap of them here. We've got Nuke, and there they are, Nuke and Roche. And have Tennis Australia done the right thing, Roy Slaven?
I don't think they have. I don't think they have. And mind you, there is an upside and a downside to Newcombe and Roach. Let's look at Nuke. Who can forget his win in 1967, was it? 1968 over the great, was it Wilhelm Budget? Who can forget that victory? Nuke went on, of course, to be the world's #1. With Roachy, there's an upside as well. He was the world's #1. Obviously, he was open-minded. He went to the Philippines, I think, to have a chicken's heart pulled out of his elbow to try and fix the tennis elbow. It didn't work. Still, he was open-minded to take it on. But where I come down on the side of Fraser rather than Nuke and Roach is that, well, Nuke's a character, but sometimes he can get a little bit out of control. My mail is this, that there was a diplomatic and embarrassing incident in Russia when Nuke was there. He got into a lift, he took out his bed flute when there was someone else in the lift, i.e. a female person whom Nuke didn't know. Roachy then got in the lift as well.
Oh, yes, the next
flute
floor up.
came out, next floor up. And I don't think it went over particularly well with Raisa Gorbachev, who happened to be the person in the lift. Now, I think there's a time and place
yes, there is.
for those sorts of harmless hijinks. You'd expect it from Patrick Rafter. You'd expect it from the Super Woodies.
Yes.
But you do not expect it from someone in a position of authority. And I don't think it even went over with the Ziranovsky crowd. And they're very hard to get offside, but Nuke did it. He got them offside. So, for those, and they're just a couple of reasons. But I love the bloke. I love Nuke. I love Roach.
Roy, can you, you know, for the listeners and viewers of This Sporting Life, can you sort out the roles that they have? Obviously, Roach is full of tactics and Nuke looks basically after the rooms and the lift gear. Is that basically how it works, that the brains is Roach and the hands-on gear is the SBC Two Fruits man?
Yeah, that is Nuke.
Yes.
I think you're right. Well, Roachy's never about. Notice in the film clip we showed, no Roach. Where is he? I don't know, on the phone to Lendl, coaching other people. The thing about Fraser was it was a full-time job. The thing about Harry Hopman was it was a full-time job. The thing about a couple of clowns we've got in at the moment is that it's just a casual job for them. And I don't think when it all boils down, at the end of the day, to use a cliche, that those two clowns could give a bugger about Australian tennis or the Davis Cup.
We ask you to not expect too much too soon. Remember, we gave Fraser 23 years in the job. We'll be back with more life after this.
Roy and HG are pleased to announce the open day at their Lithgow abattoir on Sunday, August the 7th. See Roy in action with the stun gun in the drop box. See HG going mad with the blade in the boning room. And leave with a full stomach. That's open day at Lithgow's affable abattoir. Roy and HG's Merry Meatworks.
Hello, John Platten here. You know, I used to buy my dat fingers in singles, but now I get the butcher's packs, 4s and 9s. It's hard to believe, but I think they really taste better.
And now on This Sporting Life, it's time to fly to the moon and join our masters of travel, H.G. Nelson and Roy Slaven, and celebrate our Australia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Our Australia. Now, Asians, wherever you are, if you're thinking of coming to this great, wide, brown land, put 3 things on your list, and I've got 4 fingers up to demonstrate how important I want 3 things remembered. Those 3 things: Uluru in the dead heart. Secondly, the 3 sisters. Thirdly, make a beeline to the Kiama blowhole when there's a big swell running and you get a big spurt up out of the ground. Tremendous sight. Here we are at the middle of those 3 at the 3 Sisters in the Blue Mountains, just west of Sydney. Roy's been out having a shufty. Roy, they're a tremendous sight, and they do something to you, don't they, the 3 Sisters?
Yes, they do, they do. I always associate the 3 Sisters with romance. It's a honeymoon spot. This is where many relationships have been consummated, and this is where many Australians and now many Asians have actually come into being, i.e. been conceived with the 3 Sisters in mind. I don't know, I feel a little bit sad when I think of the 3 Sisters. I think of 3 perfectly formed, beautiful women, fixed, frozen in time and in space, who can't get away, have got nothing but their glory box, who can never consummate their relationships, much like us who gather around like rabbits. Now, if we look at their glory box, i.e. the Jamison Valley, what a pearl it is.
You've got this enormous plateau across the top. You've got the Mesa in the middle, and you've got a little butte, what I call a butte, just this side of the Mesa. You've got you've got volcanic rock or basalt on top, which is keeping the top solid, and you've got the wearing away, the gradual erosion over the years. You can see why they call the Blue Mountains with that eucalyptus oil going into the atmosphere, giving that cobalt blue feel. And I love coming here. I love the Three Sisters. It's very Australian. It's very Asian. It's very arousal making.
Yes,
that's what I like about it. And then I just want to get away, grab someone and have a top time. But then that's Australia.
It is indeed. Just have a look at those three to get us out of the frame. Look at us.
Yeah,
look
take it in.
Feel something stirring in the trousers. Give them a good hard geek. Just take it all in. Take it all in and tell me that if you've got jading wedding tackle down there, that it's not stirring and doing something. And bugger the rest of the program. Get horizontal.
They don't do much, do they?
No, they don't do anything for me.
Stupid.
It's already all very well sick of them.
You used to be able to get an echo here, which sort of was a little bit interesting.
When you had the 15
I don't think
sisters.
you need to get that now.
No, try. Give it a go, Rick.
Hello? No echo.
Well, they turned it off. You've got to put a coin in the slot nowadays. But still, you know, people can be persuaded.
Well, tourists, they'd accept anything, wouldn't they?
You've never felt so free. There's so much there to see on Nude Island.
Nude Island, where they don't stare at parrots in pairs.
You can sing.
This sporting life now asks you to walk a mile in the shoes of a special Asian.
Yes, and this evening we're walking a mile in the shoes of James Morrison, a man and his trumpet. Thanks very much for coming in, James. And I know you're worried about audience ratings, and so I'll ask this question right off the top. You know, duds in jazz, you know, duds in music industry in Australia. There's only 3 people watching this program, so name them. This is your chance. I know you've been on other shows and they've had big audiences, and I believe that you've got a chance tonight on The Life to simply clear the air.
Yeah, thanks. I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't think it'd happen so soon.
quickly.
Yes. Yes. I think that there's... I really can't say, HG. I don't think... I can't say there aren't any.
Yes.
No, I just can't really think of any right now.
Well, is Don Burrows a joke, James? Is Johnny Sangster a joke, James? I mean, they're just to name 2.
Yes, no, I wouldn't have referred to them like that.
No.
No, not exactly.
They're
no.
okay?
Yes, they're actually old mates.
Tommy Tico, could we bracket him with those?
Yes, he's an old mate too.
And how about Roger Woodward? We've heard from authoritative people that he can barely play.
Yeah.
And has been faking it for years.
Well, no, I don't think he is. I've seen him play. I think it's really him.
What, the hands don't leave the keyboard, or
Yes.
the hands
No,
don't leave the
Well, I hear he only gets like 2 or 3 notes right in every 7. Is that right?
Well, no, I think that's being oversimplistic about it.
Over-generous.
Yeah, that's generalising too much. I think Roger gets quite a lot of notes.
Yes.
What am I saying? Roger gets them all right.
Speaking of charlatans in jazz,
Yes.
James.
Not that any of those people
no,
were.
not that they are. No. But do you think it's easier to separate the gold from the dross if people are playing something that is familiar, something like Take the A Train or Night and Day, because you can see the structure of the song or the work, and therefore you can measure what they're doing against that, rather than say Mood Piece 7, something they've written themselves with only 4 notes, which is sort of like a barren paddock with nothing on it at all. So you've got nothing to measure it against. Is this reasonable?
This is a very good question, really. I was told to expect just sort of shallow, inane things.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, I think it's true that if you take well-known songs, you can really tell whether you're listening to a good player. Once you get into, what did you call it, Mood Piece 7?
Mood Piece 7.
Once you get into very free-form things, it's much easier to be an imposter. Not that people who all play that are, but it's easier to be if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.